On July 25th, 2024, at 4:18 p.m., a white twin-engine turboprop descended toward a quiet runway outside El Paso, Texas. The landing was clean, routine, no sirens. When federal agents rushed the cabin, they didn't find a firefight or a last stand. They found a 76-year-old man, wrists cinched with zip ties, legs bound, eyes half open under the fog of sedatives. His breathing was shallow. His clothes were plain. No jewelry, no phone. The most wanted drug lord on earth hadn't surrendered. He had been delivered. The man on the floor was Ismael Zambada Garcia, El Mayo, co-founder of the Sinaloa Cartel, a figure who had outlasted the DEA, the FBI, the CIA, and the Mexican military combined. For half a century, he never spent a day in custody, until a familiar face offered him a drink. For decades, the system worked. While rivals burned bright and died young, El Mayo moved like weather, present, shaping everything, never quite seen. There are no recorded phone calls of his voice in any intelligence archive. Not one. He knew 90 seconds on a cellular network could be enough to triangulate a position, so he didn't talk. He met. In meetings, he sometimes sat for hours without speaking, then stepped outside to pass orders privately. His name wasn't said aloud by lieutenants. Cameras were avoided so thoroughly that authorities relied on a single, grainy photograph from the 1990s. He inverted every narco cliché. No diamond pistols, no social media, no parades of armored SUVs. Instead, ranch houses with peeling paint, rotating safe rooms in the Sierra Madre, stays measured in weeks, not months. A life designed to leave no timestamp. A former agent would later marvel that a man who moved billions of dollars worth of narcotics across continents never once saw the inside of a cell. It wasn't luck, it was a protocol. At the center of that protocol sat a partnership. El Mayo handled logistics and patience. His counterpart handled spectacle. Joaquin Guzman Loera, El Chapo, built tunnels, staged escapes, courted myth. El Mayo built longevity. He once told a journalist dryly that there would be no tombstones for him. He intended to die free. January 2017. El Chapo lands in American custody, extradited in chains, bound for ADX Florence. The flashy half of a 40-year alliance vanishes behind concrete. The ghost stands alone. And waiting in the wings are El Chapo's sons, Los Chapitos, young, loud, hungry. They announce themselves immediately. Instagram posts, gold-plated rifles, exotic pets. Old-school capos roll their eyes in the mountains of Sinaloa. El Mayo watches in silence. What worries him isn't arrogance, it's pattern. Los Chapitos dive into fentanyl, synthetics with massive margins and catastrophic attention. By 2019, Washington brands them the face of America's deadliest drug crisis. Bounties climb, indictments rain down. This is exactly what El Mayo spent 50 years avoiding. On October 17, 2019, Mexican security forces move on Ovidio Guzman in Culiacan. For a moment, it looks like a victory. Then the city ignites. Burning vehicles block intersections. Prisoners are sprung. Heavy machine guns chatter. RPGs flash. By nightfall, the government blinks. Ovidio walks free. For Los Chapitos, it's triumph. For El Mayo, it's a warning flare visible from space. After Culiacan, the pressure never eases. January 5th, 2023, a second raid. Thousands of troops, gunships. This time, there is no retreat. Ovidio is captured and extracted before the cartel can regroup. By September 2023, he sits in a U.S. cell. Inside the cartel, trust thins. On paper, factions still co-lead. In practice, two engines grind against each other. El Mayo's camp wants invisibility. Los Chapitos want dominance. Each success teaches the same lesson. The system will not change unless someone forces it. One of El Chapo's sons begins to think differently, the quietest one. He has watched his father disappear into concrete, his brother into chains. He watches the Americans wait, patient, relentless. He projects the future forward. Every path ends the same way. So he searches for a third option. El Mayo's power never came from fear alone. It came from relationships, compadres, godsons, family bonds cultivated over decades. Loyalty earned quietly, reinforced with favors, not threats. It was also his one vulnerability. Early 2024, back-channel messages begin to move. Lawyers, intermediaries, a signal so audacious it almost sounds like a joke. The quiet son is willing to talk, and he's offering something extraordinary. El Mayo himself. At first, agents are skeptical. They've heard promises before. Then the details arrive. Locations, timing, a delivery. One official would later call it the cherry on top. They hadn't expected it at all. Months of negotiation follow. Terms take shape. The quiet son will surrender. He will deliver El Mayo personally. In return, leniency. A future that doesn't end in a grave. What remains is the hardest part, getting El Mayo to lower his guard. If anyone can do it, it's family. July 25th, 2024. Culiacan, Sinaloa. A sweltering afternoon at the city's edge. The meeting place is a one-story ranch house with an empty dirt lot, chosen precisely because it looks forgettable. Inside, fruit and bottled water sit on a table. In the next room, 6 men wait in shadow, hand-picked, silent. The quiet son arrives first. He paces, checks his watch. Across the border, agents prepare a runway. Dust rises outside. 2 SUVs roll up. El Mayo never travels with large convoys. Bodyguards scan. See nothing wrong. Nod. El Mayo steps out. White hair, weathered face, hat adjusted low. He walks toward the door, cautious but unafraid. Inside, there's an embrace. Small talk. Absent friends. Normalcy does the work that force never could. "Let me show you something," the quiet son says. "In the other room." El Mayo doesn't hesitate. The doorframe becomes a choke point. 6 men surge from the dark. A knee pins his back. Arms wrench behind him. Zip ties bite. A hood drops. Outside, suppressed gunfire ends the argument with his guards. From first contact to extraction, 90 seconds. They carry him like cargo, bundle him into a pickup, tarp pulled tight. The truck races to a private strip. A Beechcraft King Air waits with engines turning. Inside the cabin, someone presses a cup to his mouth. The sedative works fast. His head slumps as the plane lifts, skimming low, crossing the line. At Santa Teresa Airport, agents are already on the tarmac. When the door opens, the quiet son raises his hands. Inside, the white whale of the DEA lies bound and breathing. The news detonates globally. In Washington, officials celebrate. In Mexico City, leaders fume. An operation executed on their soil without warning. Inside the cartel, the reaction is volcanic.
Loyalists feel the deepest betrayal possible. Remaining Chapitos denounce the Quiet Son to prove they are not like him. September 2024. Gunfire erupts across Culiacan. Factions collide. Safe houses fall. Bodies appear as messages. The once cohesive machine fractures. External rivals circle. Weeks later, El Mayo appears in a U.S. courtroom in a wheelchair, headphones on. By August 2025, facing the certainty of dying behind bars, he pleads guilty. The man who swore he'd never see a cell will know nothing else. The Quiet Son secures a deal: years instead of life, survival instead of loyalty, freedom with an asterisk that means he can never go home. El Mayo's systems didn't fail. They worked for 50 years. What failed was something no system can erase. To build an empire, you need people. To keep people, you need trust. And trust is a crack no amount of paranoia can seal without becoming alone. He anticipated every trap, except the one that came wearing family. 50 years of invisibility undone by a single invitation. Not because the system caught him, because someone he loved did.